It's a 9,000 square foot building, 5-story, as if like you're sort of piercing through the brick facade. Why do you still do this? Haven't you made enough money? I went to town with this house. We achieved a total GDV of, yeah, that's why I'm still going. God, that got quite deep there, didn't it? Hi guys, welcome to the video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A about me and my journey in property developing. And what better place to do this Q&A than in this building behind me. So guys, this is Bastion House. It's a 9,000 square foot building, 5-story, It's a 9,000 square foot, 5-story building of 9 luxury residential flats that we finished in early 2022. So this is a site that we bought in early pandemic. We built it in the pandemic and then we sold all the apartments also in the pandemic. So it's a proper COVID project, if you want to call it that. There were a lot of learning curves on this project. It was our first RC frame building, RC meaning reinforced concrete frame building. As you can also see from the facade, all the window openings and apertures are all different sizes. None of them really line up, which meant that this was also a structural challenge as well in terms of structural engineering. And also, yeah, it was our first project using a crane. A lot of firsts on this project, so it really takes me back. As you can see, the building is a very irregular shaped building with intersecting volumes, if you like. If I remember correctly, there are only 1 or 2 90-degree corners in the building. All the rest are, you know, irregular angles, meaning that all these nice, lovely corner detailed brickwork that you see were all specially made and designed for that specific corner. So a lot of thinking and detailing behind the crafting of this development. And you can also see these lovely big balcony openings as well. They all have this floating brick detail, giving the illusion of piercing through the brick facade, these big openings, these big apertures through the brick facade. And I guess it all adds to the high-end, high-quality architecture. So let's head up to the roof terrace on the top and finish off the rest of the video there. We bought this site with planning permission very early on in the pandemic. We built it in the pandemic and then we sold all the apartments as well in the pandemic. And this site at the time when we sold it, this is going back a couple of years, maybe 2.5 years, we achieved a GDV, a total GDV of 6.5 million. If we sold the apartments today, it would probably be over 7 million, maybe even 7.5 million in GDV. But yeah, at the time we achieved 6.5 million in GDV. This whole site, again, it's another tight site on a corner junction. And originally on this site was one single house and its garden, rear garden, and a outbuilding at the backs, which they used as a small workshop. So this entire building was built on the plot where there was just one single house previously. So yeah, it's it's crazy when you think about it. Now there's like 9 brand new apartments in that same plot, and 9 very happy occupants living here now. So it took us just over a year and a half to do the construction on this building, and it was during some of the most challenging times during the pandemic, as you can imagine, but we managed to get through it and come out the other end with this magnificent building. And yeah, a lot of lessons learned on this one, a lot of firsts on this project. First time we used a crane, first time we created an RC framed building. The tallest building at the time we had built as well, which in itself had challenges, especially on this tight corner junction. But yeah, we've got through it, and that's all history now. All right, guys, so let's start with a Q&A. So the reason I want to do this Q&A is because I've been getting a lot of questions recently through various social media platforms, and just when I've been out and about on some networking events. I thought it would be a good idea to do a video about some of the regular questions I keep getting asked. So let's go. So the first question, how long have you been a developer for? I get asked this quite a lot. So I first started my property developing journey back in 2009. Very different times back then. And I was on the hunt for my first development opportunity, but I didn't actually purchase my first development opportunity until 2010. I didn't fully get going until 2010, but you could say that I started my journey in 2009. Back then, social media platforms and YouTube were at their infancy, so there wasn't a lot of material I can just fall back onto which told me how to do developing. I learned through experience, through trial and error. Yeah, that's led me to where I am today. So next question, what was your first development? So my first development was a small period house in a location that was up and coming. There were signs of gentrification. It was actually in the area of Dalston. Back when I was looking in 2009, Dalston wasn't even on the radar of many people. There was new infrastructure being brought into the area, so a new train line. It had great connections into the city, a short taxi ride into the city area, and there were just signs of gentrification. I spotted this opportunity. This was, like, just to remind you, this was just after the financial crash. So I saw an opportunity to purchase this small house. It was probably the smallest house on the street, in need of major works, and I bought it under my own name. So I bought it as my first residence for me to live in, and then I renovated it, I extended it, I went to town with this house. So I opened it all up, made it all open plan, and created some nice architectural features. And yeah, I spotted a gap in the market where people wanted to live on nice streets with the period frontages, but they wanted the modern interiors. So this house was in disrepair, and I gave it a new lease of life, and I lived in it for about a year and a half, and then I eventually sold it and moved on to my next one. Next question, do you have to be wealthy to be a property developer? Well, it would probably help, but the answer is no. You don't need to be wealthy to be a property developer. Although property developing can be capital intensive, there are various entry points into property developing with creative finance options available now these days, and clever ways of raising capital, crowdfunding, that kind of thing. So there are various entry points into property developing. You can always start off small and work your way up as well. So I would say no, you don't have to be wealthy to be a property developer or to get into the field of property developing. Next question. You're successful. What separates successful people from not so successful people? Well, thank you for saying I'm successful. I'm getting there. I think success is defined in different ways for different people. For me, success is leaving a legacy of some kind. For me, success is generational wealth. For some people, it might be like having freedom in life, so building up wealth enough to have freedom. But for me, I don't know if I don't know if that's enough. I'm a legacy kind of guy. So next question: why do you still do this? Haven't you made enough money? I have had some success along the way, so I don't think it's life-changing enough for me at the moment. When my parents came to this country, when my grandparents emigrated here, they came with nothing. They gave me a good solid foundation. They worked hard to provide me a good solid foundation. So now I kind of have to step up and go achieve above and beyond what they had achieved, and they achieved it with nothing. So I now have to go above and beyond what they had achieved. Anything but that is just, I've failed. Yeah, that's why I'm still going. God, that got quite deep there, didn't it? Maybe let's lighten it up with the next question. What was your most successful project? I'd say every project has been a learning curve, so every project has been successful in that regard. But I've had various successes, as I've mentioned, along the way. One of my best ones was my second project I'd ever done, and that was a townhouse, again in the Dalston area, when Dalston was still up and coming. It was a completely run-down project, derelict house that I managed to acquire. Again, I went to town on this house, got it through planning, and had various additions, renovations, created a very modern contemporary house with a period facade. So that did really well. That catapulted me into my property developing journey. Prior to the pandemic, I had worked on 3 new build developments, each consisting of 9 apartments. They did very well. We were still finishing off one of them in the pandemic. Every apartment sold very quickly. So these were quick turnaround projects for us. Again, that gave us the confidence to carry on and move on to larger projects. So yeah, there's been various success stories along the way with various projects. Yeah, but as I mentioned, they're all kind of successful in one way or another. We've learnt a lot. Every project brings new, fresh challenges, adds to your knowledge. Reese is going to tell me the last question. He's been wanting to ask me a question for so long.
What age do you want to retire?
What age do I want to retire? I don't know, really. I don't want to put a number on it because I'll see how I feel at the time. I'm not sure where I'm going to be in life, what I'm going to be involved in. Am I still going to be involved in real estate? I'm not sure. Or will I have diversified and moved on to other things? I'm not sure, but I do want to carry on something. I want to carry on learning. I don't want to just sit around and do nothing. So yeah, I don't want to put a number on it. Maybe I will never retire. Who knows? That's it, guys. That's the end of the Q&A for now. There's always loads of questions you can ask, so I'm sure I'm going to be doing another Q&A down the line. But for now, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll see you at the next one. Oh, God.
It didn't record.
What? Are you serious?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, don't do that.